All right. Welcome back to a family business podcast where real estate meets real life and occasionally a little chaos. Speaking of chaos, how about what's happening in our real estate world these days?
Yeah, the market's like one big group chat and nobody wants to be the first to respond. It's odd.
That's right. We got the tech shakeups, we got Zillow, we got renting craziness. We're going to unpack it all today and what it means for our local market and a little banter on what it means nationally.
It's getting messy out there. Let's dig in.
That was great, Brad. So let's just start right now with this whole Zillow thing. How about we do that? We got Zillow's losing ground. They're doing whatever they're doing. Compass has launched this listing private. I don't know if you have Compass friends on your, I guess your scroll, but they've been last 2 days. I've been seeing it, which I mean, I think their branding of it's phenomenal. I think they're doing a great job with that. But the thing that made me chuckle is, I mean, we've had that all along with our YLOPO tools with our database. And I think somebody said Brivity has the same thing. So I guess maybe, is it really better or is Compass just doing a better job of marketing?
It's all perspective. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's just like you said, like, you know, you take one piece and you just kind of tweak something there and you make it to your own, right? And it's quite, it seems like it's just a big, who's bigger match right going on right now. Who's bigger, who's better. And it's weird because we're all just sitting down here. Like, you got to imagine this, like there's a huge cliff and there's a valley, and like we're all down the valley, and like all these big wigs, all the stuff that's in the news is like up top, and I'm just kind of like watching everything, and I'm like, you know, where is the effects coming from where? And it's like, you know, when do we actually feel this? That's the question.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think what you just said is a lot of it, you know, it like kind of comes out and everybody in the larger markets are all like, oh my gosh, this and that. And we don't really have that here, but it's some point, I mean, it will have a little bit of an effect here in the Quad Cities. But to answer your question, yeah, it's all out there already. But I think if there's one deal that I would give Compass a lot of credit for, they've always had a really good platform. So yeah, they're using a lot of what we already have out there and a lot of the other companies have, but they're just making it, what's the word for it? A little bit more polished, which, you know, I mean, good for them. But yeah, a lot of those are already out there already.
I mean, literally, that's literally what I thought when I saw because you know, obviously their corporate branding did some kind of reel. That's the one I keep seeing coming across all my feeds. But the thing is I literally, as I'm watching it and it's like, it's going through, because it's all about, they're saying that, and I think it's just their spin on how to market their, you know, their pre-listing or off-lit. What do they call it? Compass exclusive? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Private listing.
Okay.
Private exclusive, right?
So
yeah,
I really boiled it down. And to me, it's like their way of spinning and branding and marketing better their private exclusive, because obviously the way that it was launched in the marketplace didn't go over so well. And I think there was some pushback on that. So whether, you know, you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, it definitely wasn't launched in the way it should have been. And there was a negative, I think, effect. So when they rolled out the new, I don't know what they're calling it, portal or something. Again, very well done marketing pieces that I've seen on it. But literally, it is taking what's in the Compass database, so your brokerage's database, and analyzing that. So if you have someone that's listing a house, you put it in, you know, what it is, so they can kind of see how many people are looking at in that price range in that database. And then that makes your seller be able to market it or decide how to market it and price it appropriately based upon that demand and the people in there. But legit, like as I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself,
we have this.
Yeah, we already have this, right? So
yeah.
I don't.
So not to be off topic here, but getting back to Compass, I would bet in the Quad Cities, if you interview 10 people and you would say, have you ever heard of Compass? How many would say yes?
2 to 3, probably.
I would say you're
below
probably
50%.
Just about right. So that's what I'm getting back to, is like a lot of things are localized here that we don't necessarily get in the bigger markets. Now, if you're in Chicago, you're in New York, you're in any of the bigger metropolitan areas, I mean, this is a big deal to you right now.
Well, and I just want to stress, and I'm sorry, PT, I just want to stress too, like any of the Compass agents that we do know, they all seem great. I mean, yeah. I've never met a Compass agent that I'm like, oh, that person. No, I mean, they're all great agents. So this is not a Compass. It's just interesting, you know, the way things are put out there and kind of what people think it means. And then you're like, wait, I don't get it. Like we already have this. Agree.
Well, and I'll go back to my point too, that I was trying to make earlier about that we haven't felt this effect yet, or we really, going back to how many people would actually know what Compass is, right? It's the difference between a large market and a small market, right? We are seeing a movement in our market though, to basically get, just to give a little background on our current market, we've, the market share has been held by two traditional brokerages for as long as all of us probably can remember. But we're starting to see movements outside of that, right? So who knows? Compass might enter the market at some point because of these things that they're doing. It might attract certain things. Now, will it be successful in a market since it's smaller? Maybe, just because we said, we've got that already.
Yeah. And to your point, it is crazy because that is how it used to be in our marketplace. There was two kind of traditional brokerages, and now one of them still has, I don't know what, just a little less than a third of the market share. Yeah. And then the rest of the market share is basically divided up between, there's probably 3 or 4 other players in that. And it's crazy just seeing that change because, some are a little higher than others, but pretty much all very similar.
Yeah, there are a lot of real estate companies in the Quad Cities right now, but really, realistically, only about 4 or 5 players, if you say that. And when I say players, like market share over, 8%.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's kind of crazy. So yeah, some of those, I don't know what the Zillow thing is, but I don't think it really has a lot of bearing on us. Again, nationwide. Yeah, but nationwide, maybe it does, but it all boils down to, we're going to get into the Zillow stuff, right? So Zillow's trying to have all the power. So then Compass is trying to take it back. And so this is this little battle thing. But do we really think it's really going to, what's going on? Is it, at the end of the day, is it going to hurt buyers? Is it going to hurt our business?
Here's how I see it. And Brad, I'm sure, can elaborate on this as well. But to just think of more of a broader picture of potentially what's happening between in this whole Zillow situation is that, okay, let's look at what Trump has done with tariffs and all of this other stuff with its negotiating powers, right? They're trying to find ways, okay, how do we find our way to make not only have an advantage, I guess, against their person that they're working through in negotiations. So that's how I kind of see it in perspective, is that really all it is at the end of the day is that they're just trying to find ways to gain power on the other party.
Yeah. And I really think for areas like ours, like our ultra high end would be over $1 million, right? Let's just really face it. Whereas what Compass is really doing is they're trying to corner a market that's ultra high end, which it depends on the market. But are we really talking $10 million, $12 million? Some crazy listings, right? And Zillow, I'm not sure if Zillow has as much, and I don't have any stats, so I can't back this up. I just want to disclose this. But are $10 million buyers really going on to Zillow, or are they calling their agent and saying what's out there that you know about? And I would guess, and I could be completely wrong, that they're calling their agent. Whereas in our area, I would venture to guess a lot more people are on Zillow.
Yeah, but what's interesting about that though? So you're saying a lot more people are on Zillow, but and I'm not bragging, but we're like the number 3 agent for 3 or 4 in our MLS out of like 800 people, and we don't use Zillow. So when you say no,
our clients do though.
Well, they do, but clearly they don't, because if they fully did, then they'd be getting connected right through the concierge system and hooking up with some agent. So they might use it as a search engine. Yeah. But not the way that Zillow is intending it, which is really what this is all about. Because, I think it's Brian Lazine that says this all the time. Like, at the end of the day, Zillow wants to be a brokerage without being a brokerage, right?
Yeah, they want to capture the lead and they want to sell it back to you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, which is one of the reasons why we got out of it. People, if you've listened to you should go back to some of our beginning podcasts, we talk about this. We were one of the first people in our marketplace to be on Zillow before Zillow even synced with our IDX, with our MLS. So we had to manually enter our listings. But back then it was because you could just tell they were going to be big, which obviously they are. They're the biggest.
The largest.
Yeah, right. But the thing is that agents got ticked off at the only way that Zillow survives is if we provide them listings, right? But they've become such a monopoly, I guess. So people think they have to be on Zillow. And I think that's what this war really is about between Zillow and CoStar and Compass and all of this, is basically saying, like, why is it that we have to be on your site in order for our listing to be exposed or for a buyer to think that they see everything. That's what it's all about. And what I'm saying is really in our marketplace, do you think that really pays or really has a huge impact?
Zillow, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really do. I just really think that a lot of people that don't know real estate at all, that's where they go. And up until that's not the case, I mean, that's why they have all this power, right? I mean, where they're able to make all these rules and they're able to do all these things, and to their credit, and I know there's a lot of negatives too, but to their credit, they still have the easiest navigating app that I've ever used. So it's one of those that the easier that you make
Not
it on
accurate,
the consumer. Though. Correct. No, that 100%. Now, remember when the Zestimates came out at first, how off they were? But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, we always tell clients that I mean, they're taking raw data from everywhere, and there's no perfect system. And I'm not here to sell Zillow, but
sure sounds like you are.
But I'm just saying, what's out there with our clients. I mean, I can't tell you how many times that I'll get sent a text message, or I'll have a client that say that I saw this on Zillow.
Well, and what's intriguing to me too, we think of Zillow as the search engine that everybody uses, right? The largest in the world. But now it's coming more into light. What do you see when you go on a showing time now? What do you see when you go on a dot loop now? What do you see when you follow boss? It's everywhere. I mean, and
they bought them all.
Correct, right? And so that also, when you think about, okay, if CoStar takes away, removing their Matterports from Zillow, how much damage does that really do to them at the end of the day? They are using, all of my platforms that I use in my day-to-day has Zillow tagged to it, everything.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is because they have the Zillow 3D or Zillow Showcase, which is a 3D tour, so you don't actually see. So that's interesting. But also, Brad, I would challenge you. You should go on the backside of our platforms for our different listings. You'd be shocked. I mean, Zillow is definitely a player for the search option for our buyers, but it's not the number one by any. And maybe we're just hyper local, like we've talked about this before. The Quad Cities is a different beast because a lot of them are local search engine sites or other sites. Not Zillow is not. I mean, they're on there. They're definitely getting views, but they're not by far and wide the leader.
Are they able to? And I'm just curious. Are they able to track the app as well, and not just that they're?
Well, yeah, honey. It's
coming
the IP
from
address.
The Zillow website.
Yeah, it's all one entity. But going back to our smaller local market again. Once again, asking about if people knew if what Compass was, we get the flip side of it and ask people about the different brokerages that are already in our area. The majority, it would be probably 60% plus if you've heard of it. So you kind of have an idea or a directory of where to go. Yes, Zillow is, it probably pops up in the 1 to 3rd option, but also we're so hyper local in our market. Everybody wants to be local and use the local businesses that we have to offer. So yeah, that number probably is skewed in our opinion. But when you go to Miami and there's 8 realtors that live on your street, you probably do just go to Zillow at the end of the day.
Right.
And at the end of the day too, I mean, I saw this somewhere. I mean, it really, I mean, as agents, you just have to, I mean, I don't know who said this on a podcast recently, is that just put your earmuffs on, right? And just focus on your business and what you can control. And maybe the reason why Zillow isn't such a big deal to us really is, it's a great search engine, but we have interactions with our clients. We have personal relationships with our clients. If you're just a numbers game and it's all about the number of transactions and just finish it and get to the next one and finish it, okay, then maybe this is having more of an effect on you. I heard someone say this best too, is Zillow is a platform. If you are a brand new agent and you're trying to, in addition to, hopefully you're working your spear and those things, but in addition to that, if you're trying to build your business and your book of business, Zillow might be a great resource for that. But you have to the bad thing is it's people call it crack, right? They get it, they start getting the leads, they convert them because they're usually top of the funnel leads, and then they're on to the next one, right? But those people, if we think about this, they're not really agent they're not really people that are like big realtor people. That's why they're on Zillow, right? They think that they can get it faster, quicker, and not.
100%.
Yeah.
And I would bet, and it'll be interesting, they probably don't have these stats out, how many people use the same agent that they found up a Zillow, that they don't have that personal relationship and trust.
Right. So that's where I think you're going to see the I don't know which way it will go. And maybe that's why Zillow is getting into all these other things like Showing Time and Follow Up Boss and Dot Loop, because at the end of the day, if you're an agent and let's say you get 10 leads from Zillow, you convert half of them. Okay, well, if you can at least take 2 or 3 of those and put them into your database and make them lifetime clients in your first year, and you do that for a couple of years, you're going to have a good book of business. So I don't know, maybe that's why if you're more referral based and you're really working, and maybe that's the lesson in all of it, right?
Well, I think it goes back to how you market your properties too. There's a way to market away from Zillow, right? You've got your branded websites, you've got your if it's a property website or your brokerage website, there's ways to market away from Zillow too. And most likely there's a way to get around that. And that's maybe why the numbers are skewed at the end of the day when we look at that on our side for where people are coming from.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny when you guys say that you find it, Brad, like the ease of use, because it makes me crazy. And again, I get that there's a need for Zillow. I get it's the largest. I get that our listings need to be on it, but it is not a website that I like searching homes on. And maybe because a lot of times I know it's inaccurate.
Ever go to the website. I use the app.
I don't even have the app on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say why the perspective is so easy is that you type in the address, 9 times out of 10 Zillow is that first link.
Yep. And
then what you do is you have all your information there, and then you just hit the share button and then send it to wherever you need to. Yep. Otherwise, if it's set up to have success that way. Now, if you started to go look for more properties, then it gets a little bit more clunky, right? Because it's not the snap of your finger. But that's why you go with that.
Well, and I'm sorry, but you know what else though? With all this is going on, this is the thing that people have to realize is the big thing that Zillow used to tout is because that's where you go to see all the listings, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the truth anymore, because now they're restricting who can go on. They're restricting people's like Compass's listings if they're off market exclusive in the beginning. If an agent markets it and coming soon, which it doesn't put it in the MLS portal, they're not going to be on the website. There's different. So is that going to change it? Just think about that for a minute. Different.
I think there's a clear shift on Zillow's, business plan. At first they were, we want to be the largest search engine in the real estate industry. Now you're seeing this shift to a brokerage, essentially. Yeah. They bought Showing Time, they bought Follow Up Boss, Dot Loop, and then they're also, limiting what listings can be shown on their website too. So definitely it seems like their business plan has shifted.
Well, and I think too, it just brings it, like we talked about a little bit, it brings it back local, right? If the consumer is confused, they're going to go to the realtor, the agent that they know, like, and trust, and to help them decipher what's going on.
So getting back to what you just said, PT2, they wanted, to be the biggest search engine. So in my opinion, you can't have it both ways, right? So if Compass wants to have exclusives and then you all of a sudden have a new policy that you're not fine, if you want to do that, you can, but we're not going to have you on our website. Are you really doing what you are known for? Like the one-stop shop for everything? So, I get both sides of it. Trust me, where Zillow's trying to make money off of, this or that, and they have so many ancillary services. Like you said, they're Showing Time, Follow Up Boss. You can really go on and on, but are they losing a little bit here by not having the Compass ones on there?
Well, there's clearly an end goal for them. I don't know what it is.
If we did, we wouldn't be doing this podcast. Right. We'd been a beach somewhere.
Exactly. But they're, just from my perspective, they're, it seems like they've, been there, done that with the largest search engine, and they see maybe something within this Compass idea or whatever. I think just across the real estate industry, there's just been this new push to, we remove ourselves from the brokerage and become more of the individual agent, right? At the end of the day is what you're seeing, this huge boom across the North America, right? And so it's really interesting, and I would love to just be a fly on the wall on these C-suite meetings of like, okay, what is their real goal with buying these different entities and kind of moving away from what we all know Zillow for at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what else is interesting? And one of the ways I think they're going to use that, when everyone's all worried about their data and everything and Fall Out Boss and all that stuff. One of the things I think, because what I've gotten in the last 2 days, which this announcement was just made here in the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, is that in the last 2 days, I've gotten things in my email from them about webinars that they're going to be doing, not necessarily focusing on Zillow, but for how to best use, dot loop, how to best use, so it's like, I think they're using the data to know, okay, if there's agents that aren't using our platforms, now all of a sudden they have the data to know what those agents are producing because they can see everything in the dot loops and the follow-up bosses.
Here's my question, and maybe I'm just naive for thinking this, but everyone is always just, they freak out when the word data sharing is attached to something. I don't understand that. And, you get your iPhone data shares everything, right? And that's like basically your life. Yeah. So why just another thing on my phone or my laptop? What does that change for me? And then at the end of the day too, that's where I'm just like confused. Is like, there's this like,
let's go back to it. It all comes down to personal relationships, right? The agents that are nervous about data sharing and, oh my gosh, I mean, they might be looking at my contacts and they might mark
your grandma's banana bread
towards
recipe.
Them. I really think it's great because guess what? So all of a sudden, Zillow might start to send so-and-so properties. I mean, who knows? I mean,
that is how it's going to work.
All right. So that's the way that it's going to work. That actually makes my job easier, that they're sending my clients properties, that they're not going to contact a random Zillow agent if you have the relationship with them.
And that's how I look at data sharing, right? I mean, so, whenever you have an issue with like your lap, and I keep on going back to Apple, but it's the thing that most consistently happens in my day-to-day life. But like, if an app quits or if something like with my Tesla, if something doesn't go wrong, that thing thrives off it learning from it just driving. It's important to data share. Absolutely. And it makes our lives easier because what you're doing is sharing, okay, here's what's happening. How do we improve from there? That's my perspective.
So we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I think we're, So
don't be worried.
Yeah.
So another hot topic is, if renting is, I guess, moving subjects here, if renting's the new flex. So there's a article that just came out in regards to in Austin, Texas. The average rent, I believe, I'm going to get this wrong, I should have written it down, I believe is $1,400 a month. And it's actually cheaper than what the average home price mortgage is. So people are thinking... Is
it though?
No, well, right. That's the discussion, right? Right. So, is renting smart or is it a short-term illusion? I mean, I think we're all on the same page here, but it is a hot topic right now.
Short-term illusion that you read me the stats, Andrea, so you have them. Out of the last 100 years, how many years has the market not made money? The housing market, like how has not?
I think it's 2 years or something.
I mean, something insane like that. So even though today that the rents might be less in Austin, Texas, than it is to buy a home, long term, you're not ahead there. And I am going to tell you why. So let's just use round numbers. The rent in Austin, Texas is $2,000. Let's say, okay, I think you said $1,400, but my brain doesn't work well enough to take 1,400 times 12. Actually, it does. That would be.
Oh my Lord.
No, hold on here.
It's okay. Just use round numbers then.
Okay, so let's just say it's $2,000 a month, right? That's $24,000, or whatever that number is that you're never going to see back again. Mm-hmm. That would mean that if you bought a house. And let's just say the payment difference is $600 even, let's say. I mean, a lot of money, let's say. You're never going to be ahead. So, and that's, you will never, not you, people will never sell me on renting is better than buying a house. How many extremely wealthy people do you know that don't own their home? Me personally, zero.
Well, and again, let's go back to what you just said. Over the last however many years, only 2 years, the real estate did not appreciate. I don't remember the 2 years. We'll get you that stat. But
probably 07.
Yeah, I think it was actually prior to then. But that it did not appreciate overall. So, even if let's just say that your house stayed the same. Let's even say it went down. Let's say you bought a house for $300,000. Let's say you went to sell it 5 years later and it had went down by $20,000 in value. okay, you still made a mortgage payment, which means you still put money into basically a forced savings account. So let over 5 years, I mean, I don't know what the exact number, if it's a $300,000 house, again, we'll use round numbers. Maybe it was $500 a month that got paid towards your principal. Okay, well, that's still money ahead, right? Whereas if you rent, absolutely nothing. And you can't write off your interest, and you can't write off your property taxes. You're just helping your landlord get wealthy.
So let me reverse this just a little bit, though. Say you just graduated from college, and you don't have a lot of credit yet. Maybe you don't have a lot of income. In that case, if you're renting for a couple of years, I don't really think that's the worst deal in the world, that you don't have a lot of out-of-pocket cash either, in case you have to make repairs. But at the first time when you feel that you are financially stable, that's when you should be buying a house and not renting. And you hear, like, I always, a lot of these rental properties you'll like go to, and they have a Mercedes out front, and they've got a 88-inch TV. Do they make 80-inch?
Oh, sure. Of course.
They make whatever size you want.
So this crazy stuff. Now that's ridiculous, right? So if you're renting it, you're just trying to get by. I get it. But if you're able to finance all those other things, buy a house.
I just keep on thinking of big rental, because I've seen so much propaganda on social media recently about, how much better, realistically it's to rent than to buy. And PMI is basically the same thing as renting, all this stuff. And it just is odd at the end of the day. Because it just goes back to our conversations we've had. Like, there's different ways that you building credit and real estate appreciating. Yep. Just check the boxes off. This isn't myths. This is statistical records of what actually is going on in building wealth within a property in real estate.
Exactly. Well, and hindsight's 2020, and sure, I mean, maybe I'll help somebody else be a millionaire, but by the time they're 25 or whatever. But I mean, if you could go back in time, and whenever you get your birthday gifts, your college graduation gifts, your high school, all the cash throughout your life, if you just put it in a checking account, and by the time you graduate college, had that money to put as a down payment, and then, as we just discussed, real estate appreciates, and then you use that to buy your next home. I mean, just think about where you'd be now. But obviously, no, we like to party and buy cars and go on trips, and
it's the
spring break in Panama City and all those things.
Right. Here's where, in this conversation I had, is just popping into my brain. But COVID changed the way that a lot of people think. And the way that money is viewed at the end of the day. I was just talking to Bobby, another realtor in our office, and we're just like, what is going on? Like, it just seems that either a lot of people are broke or whatever, and we just kept on listing off things that people abuse. DoorDash. You now basically, anytime that you check out anywhere online, you can do interest payments, or you can break up your payments for a $20 purchase on Amazon, right? So there's just ways that are people that are, know how to capitalize on people and make money, and we're falling for it, right? And people are going,
you want to tell the story about last Friday?
I don't know about last Friday, but maybe it's the same story. But so we had to get some new windows in our house. Oh, yeah. Not all new windows, but some new windows. And we couldn't get all new windows because we'd have to take a second mortgage out on our house to get all new windows, because we have big casement windows, which is beautiful and not beautiful. Anyway, the moral of the story is, in getting our windows, when we talked to the window contractor, Mainstream Home Improvement, they're great. Highly recommend.
Spencer Sierra.
Anyway, when we were talking to him about the cost, and he gave us a quote, I'm like, holy cow, Spencer, I was not budgeted for that. I don't really, this and that. Anyway, he's like, well, I'm like, was there a difference between paying cash or if we do because they have a 12-month zero interest financing? He's like, no, actually, there's no difference. So, whichever one you prefer. And I was like, okay, so, obviously if someone's going to let you use their money for free for 12 months, you're going to use their money. Yep. So we signed up for that, and we're doing the 12 months, no interest, to pay the windows. Well,
no, it's actually, Andrea, if you read the fine print, it's 84 months.
Right. That's what I'm going to wait. Hold on.
It's only 20% interest.
Yeah. So if you don't, that's what I'm going to say. Exactly what you're talking about. So Brad and I did the math. Okay. So we figured out exactly how much we need to we'll set it and forget it payment every month. So it equally, so we're sure we're paid off in 12 months. So we don't pay any interest on it. And then we did the calculation because you can actually take 84 months to pay it off. If you took 84 months to pay it off, and we won't talk, I think our windows were like 17 grand. I know, gross. It was $54,000. Okay. So that's why. And I said to the owner, I'm like, well, how come you do cash and, the same? And he goes, well, because enough people don't pay it off that it more than resets
the majority of the people. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
but
it's crazy.
But so here's the deal. It's just like renting, right? Okay. So same scenario. So you decide, oh, it's cheaper for me to rent because let's use Austin, Texas, because it's not here in the Quad Cities. You get a crappy rental. I mean, you should buy. But anyway, so let's say you rent in Austin, Texas for $1,400 because right now that's cheaper based upon what the interest rates are. And that seems fine. Well, then you don't save any money because you're renting and you just continue to do like you said. And the next thing you know, your landlord says that, well, I'm going to raise your rent. And now it's cheaper to own.
It's not such a good deal.
Right. It's not.
It's a really bad deal.
And here's the other thing too. When you own your own piece of property, you have all the power. You can fix you can change something. You can fix something.
And nobody questions it.
When your toilet goes out or that shower doesn't go out, you might be waiting a week or two to get that done. Like it's the convenience part of it too. At the end of the day, right? There's the monetary, and then there's the convenience or the physical part of it.
Yep.
So I think we're putting the big old kibosh on that news story in our market for sure. You should own, not rent. So the last little topic here, the great housing stalemate. So, again, nationwide, it's sales are slow, prices are flat, buyers and sellers are frozen. That's what they're saying. I know our market's a little different than that. PT, you just gave a really nice, synopsis of that Monday or Tuesday. It should be Monday, but it's Tuesday. Whatever.
It's a market update now.
That's right.
We're just
that's not what we're seeing in our market, are we?
No. It's just to give everybody a visual as best as we can through the podcast. But if you look at a graph, it goes up and down, right? We're in the time of year where our graph goes down based on market activity, and there's always a number that outlines us for what a neutral market should be. I asked our office, I said, okay, what are we seeing with this graph? I've told them what the graph means. But someone said, it looks like we're slowing down and we feel it. Okay. Yeah. There's some validity to that. But the biggest thing you had to compare was three out of our four main cities here were close to 5 points or higher than we were last year. So yes, we're seeing our little bit fall in the winter pullback, but our market is still outperforming where we were last year locally.
No, that's a great point. And when I saw that graph, I mean, I wasn't really surprised, but and it's all depends on the price range too, right? I mean, but overall, the market is stronger this year than last year. And if we remember, last year was an election year too. So that means that normally it's a little bit weaker.
And it's so interesting. I think it all lies in this too. It's the market, specifically ours, has been running so good for so long. Yeah. And I still to this day, every time I remember right when I started my first summer with Brad and Andrea, is that, they had a limit to how many listings they would hold in their inventory.
Crazy to even
so what does that tell you, right? That homes sit on the market for a little bit longer. Yeah. And that's all we're seeing. We're just seeing that the market has just, things aren't moving as quick. That doesn't mean the market's crashing or people aren't interested.
It's a little more getting to be a little bit more balanced than it was, in July. I mean, but that's pretty normal when you go into the winter as well. So yeah,
it's more of a reset. And at the end of the day too, I mean, everybody wants to make it about the rates, but we talked about this before. I mean, people don't move because of the rates; they move because of life events. The 5 Ds. Death, divorce, diapers, diploma. What's the last one? Diamonds, right? Didn't
Divorce,
I say that?
Diamonds.
So someone gets engaged, married, divorced.
Oh, yep.
Someone passes away, someone graduates college, or someone has a baby. That's usually why they move. Yep. And those things still happen, guys. So, mean, it's just, I agree. I just think it's something for the news media to talk about. I think there's definitely fence sitters, but I think those people, I mean, as we talked about before, I mean, historically, that real estate continues to appreciate every year. So it's not going down. So we have good rates. I mean, sure, they're not 3%, but we've already talked about that's not happening again unless we have some catastrophic event, which then we have other problems. Right. So, I mean, just if you need to buy a house and you want to buy a house, buy a house. I'm sorry, buy a home.
Well, and there, we are still seeing benefits now for our buyers too. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. There's more options now, so you can weigh your options. You can have some power now in your negotiations. There's a lot of good things going on for buyers as well as sellers,
especially
too.
right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
And we're finally aware. Is this true to our market too? I believe it is. We were researching this. Is that this is like the first time in I don't know how many years, because during the pandemic, our construction costs and the cost of goods went up so high that new construction had outpaced itself so far, right? But if I remember correctly, because of how things have appreciated in the last few years, new construction finally is at a point where either it's balanced or a little bit better deal than an existing construction home. If you've been waiting, now's the time to do that, and then that just spurs everything else.
And just looking and peeking into the new construction world, though, I still feel that some consumers are still on the fence of whether they, if they have the option either to build or they're looking at a existing. Most of the time they're going to existing if everything checks off their boxes, just because one,
easier,
it's already existing. They could potentially move right in, or if they need to do work, they're willing to do that. I just see that time frames are a little bit more serious too.
Exactly.
I agree. I totally agree with that for sure. So I just think it's just, the market is what the market is. And I think that it's just more balanced. That's what I think. And
And price your houses right.
And price the homes right.
And
I will say,
I just saw one the other day that closed in the MLS. I was like laughing because I always laugh at this people. And I'll laugh. I'm sure this person's not listening to this podcast because they probably don't listen to podcasts if this is what they do. But the house was priced at like $499,900, and the listing agent sold it as the buyer's agent, so dual agency representation, which we don't practice, and it was $70,000 under list price, and it was 12 days on the market.
Wow.
So can someone help me with that?
I don't know how that math even works, but
that math does not math.
No. But circling back around to all these topics, clearly nationally in a lot of other markets, a lot of these items are going on. And that's one of the deals with the Quad Cities that I've always loved, is that we're kind of in this little bubble where we don't get hit nearly as hard as a lot of other areas in the country. So I feel very blessed that we have that. And let's hope that continues.
So let's just one last little topic here. Let's talk about like tech and AI, which is another buzzword, topic. And people think that, real estate agents are just going to get, we're just going to go away because of,
Well, they've been saying that since I got in the business.
Because I guess a computer is going to be able to help you just automatically buy and sell a house. And so thoughts on all that? Is it
like
true?
I told agents the other day in a training class that AI is not going to put realtors out of business, but it will put out the ones that do not embrace AI. If you're not using AI in the next 12 months or so, you're going to have a really, really, really tough time.
The thing with, and it's sure a buzzword for me with AI right now, because I feel like every single social media platform of mine is like, I'm starting to get to the point where, like, especially on TikTok, I don't know if there's been a new app that's been released or something that's been created, but there are just now all of these just short film AI like things. And I'm just like, it just seems like I'm seeing it just constantly. And I don't know. It's like, it's clearly becoming everything we do now, but I'm just like, when I'm scrolling, I'm like, I'm just AI.
I think the biggest thing is, and it's funny you mentioned that, PT, because on the AI class that I was on yesterday learning, we did talk about, there's a section in it, and that's literally what it is. There's little short reels, and it's made it. The guy said this is perfect if you're a TikToker and want your video to go viral. But and it's so funny because now, in the beginning I couldn't tell when something was AI, but I'm getting a pretty good eye for it now, because you're like, come on, that's not, it doesn't happen. People believe it though. You should see the comments on these things.
Well, I believe the majority of these videos that are being posted are more humor based, but just because of the outcomes that come with it. And there's probably things that I probably shouldn't share on this podcast that I see, but there's just, the things that come out, like For example, like you'll see a video of a chiropractor, like they'll go to do the crack and then they throw somebody off the table. And it's like, it's
so
more
ridiculous.
humor based at the end of the day. It's ridiculous, but there's traction that's coming from it. And I think people are realizing that this is something that you can do with something. You can give somebody a prompt and then it gets put out in a video form, where a year or 2 years ago, it took hours to do something, and now all you have to do is put a prompt into a source, and there you go. You have your video.
Take a picture and you just tell them what to do. It's incredible.
Crazy. I don't think. I don't think AI is going anywhere. Or I'm sorry. I don't think AI is taking away the realtor or anybody else really. I mean, in regards to the service industry or service client, like a client facing job, right, or career. I don't think that the people are leaving that, but I do think the people that aren't embracing it and aren't using the different AI tools to become more productive, I think they will be leaving the industry. Agreed. Because they're just going to get left in the dust, and there's, more people that are embracing it, or the people that are embracing are going to be able to be more productive. And one of the things I found to be crazy, they talked about in a different podcast, and it just kind of like chat about the same thing, is so like they were talking about how and I might, if I get it wrong, somebody just let me know in the comments or message us. But so I believe the stat was only 1 in 5 real estate agents are using AI or have any interest in using it in the next 3 years. And on the flip side of that, I believe it was 8 out of 10 consumers are using different AI platforms to search and learn about the market.
I believe it.
I would love to know how those stats, I'm sure there's some stats out there when the internet came around, probably a little bit harder to track, but compare the internet, because we've all heard Brad's stories about, everybody embracing internet back in the day. But yeah, the internet coming into light and the need to use that, and now AI, how that compares. It's essentially the same thing.
I mean, number one, I don't know how I would live without ChatGPT, but the other thing is now that we've been to a couple different trainings where we're learning about even more AI tools, some of these things I just don't know how I lived without before, and they make my life easier. So
Agreed.
I guess my thing is that I just think they are what they are. They're tools to help you as a human being in whatever you're doing. They're not there to replace you. And as long as you look at it that way, then, I think we'll be fine.
It's designed to help, improve, and just going back to data sharing and all of it, it's all intertwined in one. Yep. It's built to work aside. Drew Thompson the other day said something phenomenal, and this has changed my mindset on how to use AI. It's let's collaborate. You tell your AI system, let's collaborate. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to be doing, is collaborating with your AI.
Agree.
I will say, just to wrap things up here, that it all comes down to trust, right? And at the end of the day, AI is great. And like I said, if you don't use it here real soon, it's going to put you out of business. But at the end of the day, if you use AI and you're a trustful agent, you've got good things coming for you.
Yep. Agree.
Cool.
All right.
We've solved all the world's problems in this podcast.
Well, some.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.